Comments?
Good discussion. Did you have a comment on it?
I told you that, I think it's bad. I think it's a bad idea for a couple of reasons. One, I've never heard of it being done anywhere else, ever. I don't like plowing new ground, especially at a time of controversy, unless we're absolutely sure that we're closest you can be to absolutely sure that we're going to get what we're after. I think it does not help your win-loss record at all to try and plow new ground during a time of conflict. I think that it's at a time when the state is doing everything they can to increase revenue because they've lost so much. I don't think it bodes well for us. And I think given that, and I agree with what you said, Mayor, about Atlantic City being the emotional engine that drives, the economic engine, excuse me, the economic engine that drives Atlantic County.
Drives the state.
Okay. To that end, everybody that benefits from that economic engine, not everybody, very many of them drive to and from Atlantic City. And so the people that benefit most are not paying tax on the benefit is one of the ways that it shakes them. I just think Estell Manor's got enough of its own business right now for us to look at. We can't be reaching state, trying to fix the state of New Jersey.
Maybe it does. Maybe that at our next meeting coming up, maybe someone else will have another avenue as to what we can do.
Okay.
And I'm certainly interested to hear what would be a better plan than this. I will withdraw my resolution, so I can waste your time on it.
No waste of time.
Moving down here, we have Resolution 59, 2020. And we're going to table that until we get to that event. We have,
What? It's all recommended.
that's the closed session. Well, the reason why is this stacked here. Going on one side. Next, we have the minutes. I'm following the agenda also. Thank you. Next, we have the minutes, May 6th. Does anybody have any corrections, additions? If I don't hear any, I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next, we have department reports. We have the municipal court. We have the tax collector. We have the clerk's office, the fire company, the public works, and the zoning officer.
And a real ad in front of you, you now have the May tax collector as well.
Keep that this tonight?
Yes, on the dais in front of you.
Yes.
You can accept that one as well.
Good.
I make a motion to accept the April 2020 municipal court tax collector report and to accept the May 2020 clerk's office report, fire company, public works, zoning officer, and the tax collector's day.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving down to committee reports. We got, committee reports. If we have any myself. Does anyone else have any committee reports?
Yeah, it's on there.
That we have a written report on that, okay, with what's on it. Unless you have some questions for getting to it, Councilman. Final service on Memorial Day, I would say, what would you think, about 25 people there for all in all? I actually thought it was a nice event. I'm glad that we did it. I had no regrets. I felt very good about doing it. If I can't honor veterans who put their lives on the line and maybe they'll protect the freedoms that we have and not having to go to city. So, and about it, so they done it. We had it, and I felt like that we did it, and I felt it was my obligation to honor those who did what they could to protect our safeties and our freedoms.
Representative Estell.
Anybody have any comments pertaining to Memorial Day service? Mr. Hughes, you brought it up, you want something to say? Moving down the line here, we have, new business.
No, wait a minute, got the fire company report was already accepted, and I missed my opportunity. I want to say something on the
We can go back. I don't have no problem going back if you missed something, go ahead.
fire company's report. This is a May report, but yesterday, in June, we had a fire on Cumberland Avenue. Not only did our first responders do us very well, we had quite a lot of support locally. It was a well-coordinated effort, it really was. It was, for me, I don't have any experience with that kind of stuff. It was impressive to see what little I saw. I ran down the road and helped with traffic, but it was impressive. It was a hell of a fire, and it was impressive to see the response and the support we got. Half a dozen, maybe 8 different other fire companies. We probably owe a letter, mayor probably owes a letter to each of those fire companies. The timeliness and the strength of their support.
I also want to thank Dan Collins. I think Dan is an exceptional chief. I think Dan runs a fine detail ship over there. Yes, we're very fortunate to have Dan Collins as our chief. I agree. He makes a great chief for the city. Dan puts in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for what he does. And I commend him for it, and every member of the fire company is in the house there. Mrs. Kent, if you put together a generic letter, I'll be more than ready to come in and sign it, and we'll send it out to all of the fire departments. I'm not really sure exactly everyone that was there. I understand that,
Chief Long.
yeah, I understand Mays Landing was there, no man, I'm not sure if Dorothy was, were they there?
Dorothy, Mizpah, East Vineland, Cumberland, there were a bunch. There were a bunch. Richland, there were a bunch.
Okay.
The chief of them.
Moving down here, we have, new business. I happen to know a couple of neighbors, they have a persistent, non-stop barking dog. And quite honestly, I gotta tell you, I feel for these residents. I don't think that they should have to be able to, not be able to have the quiet use and enjoyment of the property. My personal opinion is if we can protect our citizens of 2 things here, then we're all a failure. One of them is the public safety. We need to come up with ways of how we can make it so everybody can just simply enjoy the use of their property without having to be restricted with what they do. I think it's very, very annoying. I've seen situations in past years where a dog will just non-stop bark. I've seen it where I'm at work. Dog just barking and barking and barking non-stop. The next door dog. Really annoying, but Mr. Lafferty, I'd like to have some words of wisdom from you. I mean, what do other towns do? Because honestly, there's a lot of towns that I know that they don't tolerate this nonsense. Margate, Longport, some of these.
Northfield, other towns do regulate it. Other towns are not like the Stone Manor either. They don't have the expanse that you are forced to have. A lot of those are under so they do regulate it. There are ways to regulate it, and I haven't really examined it. It's just, it's a challenging issue to address, I'll tell you that. I have, as a municipal prosecutor, been involved in prosecuting violations of municipal ordinances for barking dogs, and they're very emotional, very contentious. So that's my experience.
I have a question. I think the barking dog, isn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that included in the code that we
tunnel, did we add parking dogs?
Yeah. I thought we had. I could be wrong, it's been a while.
We're in the middle of preparing that ordinance, so I can't tell you, I never have.
So we have a barking dog.
I thought that
Do you remember a minute?
touched on
I
that.
don't remember that.
Mrs. Owen, I remember we had a conversation on the phone about it, but it was the best of my knowledge, I don't think I ever saw any draft, what he did.
Wait, I didn't have that.
It was sent to me.
Oh, you have
We're
it?
in the process of preparing the
We had it.
amendments that are required.
And I think that also code does, cover shelter versus kennel too.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just got a text from a member of the public, not the same one as before, a different one, suggesting that we might get a complaint about the Open Public Meetings Act because they can't understand what we're saying.
Mr. Solicitor, how do you respond to that one?
I don't know, the meeting's being recorded, so we can hear ultimately, if you want to take a break, and we can play back, can't we?
Yeah,
We can see. We certainly want the public to be able to hear what's going on, there's no intent to hide anything.
I got a question about the goal results.
Mr. Hughes, while we're fixing, maybe we'll just hold comments and just take a brief
Mr. Olson's
pause.
out of there.
Yeah, let's take a brief pause. If you want to talk about the weather or something like that, we could do that, but. But, I looked at, guess they had a demonstration going on out there. So, you know, yeah, they got one there and then Summers Point.
I knew that someone was pointing, that was peaceful.
They're also peaceful.
No, that started off annually peaceful. The ones that they do at 1 o'clock usually are not the problems. All right.
Very sad. Very, very sad. The actions of one man caused a country to go wrong.
Sometimes cool, sometimes it's not.
We're doing what we can to try to,
Now, when we have a problem with transmission, we need to fix the problem.
we're working on that right now.
Now, we're not required to have the video necessarily, so we could call in on a conference call line and share that with the audience.
Like, put it in another room, you mean?
You know, right there, right there.
That's my phone. First one here is my phone. And then the second is this. Hold on, speakers.
And now start talking and hear.
Okay,
Now, switch off.
Okay.
Now, switch off. Okay.
You got kicked out? Oh, yeah, it dropped me as the host over there. I had the same problem last month, dropped me 3 times during the meeting. But it didn't drop me on this once.
How about, I make a suggestion, not know if it's good, bad, or different one. What if you all revert over to our individual iPads?
I think if we run it off of this iPad, we might do okay.
The sound has to be off of one anyway.
Just do it all like that.
Just do it off this one. Let's try it. I'm gonna hang out in there for a second. Just to-
We'll place the slide in midair.
Well, I think I need to sign out and re-sign back in as the host.
I can hear you. Oh, we're here. Just the next.
Yeah, but you said you got kicked out, so we're back? Huh? So we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
It's a legitimate question.
So Matt,
You should be able to stop that. I'm just joking.
Search bar. BARK.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with that. If you really want to go with that. Like I said, I could be mistaken.
Not in
I
Zoom.
think so.
I knew you could.
Like if we started my video on this, see, the thing is, this doesn't,
You could point it out too.
very say, can we do that?
Start video. And point it out.
Oh, that way? Right, because you're still, see, you're out again. How are we gonna control a meeting?
Somebody who said, raise your hand and what?
Because it wasn't open to the public. No?
Raise my hand and got called on, I don't know why.
I saw it later on. I didn't see it at the beginning of the meeting.
That dog learned how to bark anyway.
We're back in.
Right.
So my fight was over. I said, hey, I did what I had to do. I did what I did. But he still learned how to.
That's me, here at the iPad.
But that told me
See where they're going.
vocal cords are like piece of
Right.
paper thick. Sometimes things.
Can you hear it better now that we're running it off the iPad?
It's not great.
No?
No. It's just
Tired.
the
It's been the whole night.
not good enough.
We go back to our iPads, Matt.
We'd have to go in separate rooms.
And even then, we might not be able to do it in separate rooms. Right, because you're gonna pull everybody's gonna pull the same one.
Why do we gotta go in separate rooms?
Because if the mics, there's all kinds of feedback.
Yeah, it goes.
You're out again. I thought it was the laptop last time, but it's not. What?
Who's that?
Somebody on the meeting?
Yes. Well, let's decide what we want to do. We're going in separate rooms, or doing calling in.
Everyone sounds better.
Do you want? No, everyone does sound better?
So I can't even touch that.
I mean, I hear us in there.
When everybody's talking at once.
Yeah.
It's better.
But that's the problem, is we gotta learn to not talk at once. It is on, the iPad's running right there.
Okay.
Even from a distance. Everyone sounds better even from a distance. Go.
Hey, we'll just make the one comment before we go back into the discussion. I had a gentleman, John Paul, who said that I was not speaking. So, we apologize for any technical difficulties. We're having difficulty, John, with our, transmission here tonight for some reason, and that's going up, going down. It's cutting in and out on us, so this is something beyond our control. However, we will be called upon, I'll be sure that we'll allow you that opportunity to discuss the matter on our discussion. Thank you. Can't hear you, hopefully you hear me.
Just speak up.
Okay, moving down the line here. Let's go back to dog parking ordinance. I feel that we need to come up with something to prevent a problematic nuisance dog who's disrupting the neighborhood. And I don't think that it's fair for any neighbor to have to put up with that. I really don't think that it's fair. I'm gonna go back to my comment again. Two things that are very important to city council members. We need to protect the public safety of this community. We also need to protect the parking of our property. And we can't provide that for these residents. We think we're a failure. I truly believe that. I would like to be able to do something. I'm gonna make a motion to authorize Randy Lafferty, solicitor, to look into some of the other municipalities and find the one that would best suit Estell Manor with regards to coming up with a proper dog parking ordinance. Is there a second?
Mayor, can I make a suggestion? What I'll be happy to do is look at the general code project, look at other municipalities, it's probably the best suited. That's not mine. So I will present to you the various options that are available to you, and you folks can decide what if anything you choose to do.
My only issue that I have here is I want a corrective measure that's gonna be able to bring some type of relief to the resident who's experiencing a problem.
Yeah, I made this.
But right now, we don't have anything on the books that can let us prevent.
My suggestion would be that if this person is experiencing unused dog, that he's a dog and that family is creating a nuisance. Therefore, have all the police department, have the police department come out and ascertain whether or not, and they can actually advise them to take measures to curtail the dog until at least you get something in writing. You know, the police department is the one that's gonna have to come out, even if we get an ordinance, they're the one's gonna have to come out and look at it anyhow. So we might as well involve them now. If they're having an issue that's that bad, is it, if I may ask, is it dogs barking in the middle of the night, or different time of the day,
All throughout the day, guys, kids come over, visit them on weekends, can't sit out on the deck because there's a whole bunch of dogs or something running up the fence, they're all barking all at one time. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I actually heard the video myself, and it's like, wow, I can't imagine having to deal with that.
then
It's not right.
my suggestion would be to have them contact the police department, with the local state police, and indicate that they're having a noise issue with the dogs, and ask them not to disturb the peace.
Wayne. So that's to me, that's why I like that we need to model some kind of an ordinance so that at least we have some corrective measures that we can fall back on, because right now, we have nothing. Council Shelter, say, well, what do you want us to do? Do we have an ordinance?
I'm trying to look now to see if we have any.
We don't. Not to my
Do you know the
knowledge.
general nuisance?
Not to my knowledge, I'm not gonna say we don't, but I don't think so.
I've never had a case in this long. What I'd be happy to do is, I'd be happy to look at the issue for you, and then provide you with what other municipalities have done,
And then you can decide if the official is appropriate for South Mountain. Do you remember anything from the code committee? I searched,
It's not in there.
I searched the code changes,
It's not,
although my spelling and marking is supposed to.
just never know about that. No, it is not. I thought we had talked.
With regards to the next issue of bird shelter versus kennel, is this a safety issue for the animal we're discussing?
No, I'm the one that brought that onto the agenda, and I just have a question. Is there a difference? I mean, if somebody has multiple dogs, they pick up, and they bring them in as, they take them out of shelters and they put them into the house, I mean, you have quite a number of dogs. Doesn't that somehow become kennel? My understanding is to get a kennel, you have to have a variance given.
Kennel is, my understanding of a kennel is we're discussing the term for the commercial business where people are breeding, selling, or housing, or boarding. The fact that somebody
Okay.
Take care of, left outside,
it's a, so to speak, barking up the wrong tree.
That fall under small animals and food. That is definitely.
Remember that from the planning board to clarify that as farm animals.
Number of boards.
Except farm.
Or goats. So, I have this on here, I just want to ask you, the last week. Guess we probably somehow got some kind of an answer out of that, classified pets not allowed.
I believe that Councilman is correct. I think it, whether it was for hire, opposed to domestic cat.
Something that's, I remember what case down in Estell Manor down. Okay, they have it between Cumberland and Fifth. Homeowner came in and got variance, et cetera, but those were not their animals that they were housing, and they were housing for a fee. I think the distinction in this case, the way you described it to me, is that every one of these particular dogs is licensed by the city of Estell Manor to the owner that cares for them. I don't see how you could possibly sign them as being for the property of the owner living where they're supposed to live. Even if we act without an ordinance that limits the number of, for applying to this person, because they already had however many animals they. I'm not saying that you're wrong or that we shouldn't be sympathetic toward the resident that's in distress. I think we have every responsibility to lend relief to the, to come up with a means of doing it that actually that.
Come up with a marking dog or, that's
Keep-
probably one way how we could, bring some relief to our owners that are experiencing care. Other than that, I don't know.
I know, but
Realize other people may not necessarily want to hear the dog bark, especially when they're going out on the grill and try to cook something, or the kids in the swimming pool, the kids in the kids in the street a little bit, and then these dogs just start flying out of the house and barking like crazy. I heard it.
the zoning request to address this, if you
Yes,
would desire.
please do.
Okay, can you please unmute Mr. Cagnato?
Well,
See what's the message to end the stuff.
Hello. This,
Yep.
well, yep. I was asked to look into this by the mayor, and I really don't care who looks into it. What most cities do is, once you have over 4 dogs, you have to get a kennels license, whether you have a business, whether you're. You have to get a kennels license. Yeah, whether you're breeding them, selling them, no matter what you're doing, and then